everybody. Thank you for joining me for the very second interview. Today, I'm going to be interviewing my sister, Gretchen Ann Rogers Wacker, and she is going to be telling us about farming and agriculture, specifically about the cattle and eating beef, and she will educate you on that. All right, so everyone, this is my sister, Gretchen Wacker.
Thank you.
Gretchen, thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me. Such a lovely night.
All right, first of all, tell us just a little bit about yourself and specifically about eating meat. So do you know where you get your meat? When you go to the meat department at a grocery store, where does the meat come from? And here to help you understand that is my sister. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, I'd love to. Well, a lot of people think when they go to the grocery store, that's where their meat comes from. In fact, that is not true. It comes from farmers and ranchers all around the country. And I am a cow-calf operator. Therefore, I have mom cows that give birth to babies. And when they are weaning age, we wean them and then sell them. From there, they go to, depending on their weight, they will go to a stocker operation where they are then put on, gain more weight, and then they go to a feedlot operation where they are fed out to a certain weight, and then they are processed and make it into the grocery store from there.
So basically you have the farm, the food processors, and then the grocery store.
Yes.
Now, I know a lot of people will talk about the unethical treatment of animals and how farm operations are so awful to the cattle. But I know that she is one of the most ethical people when it comes to the treatment of animals that I know. So can you clear up a few myths about what you might see on video clips of these terrible farmers being so terrible to the cattle?
Absolutely. This is a huge problem in the animal industry because we're given a bad rep, and it's simply not true. Farmers and ranchers are out there in the coldest of the cold, hottest of the hot, trying to take care of their cattle or pigs or sheep or lambs, whatever may be. But there's just a lot to it, and there's a lot of taking care of your animals properly. And besides it being a business, you also are you are with these animals all the time, and it's so important to keep them happy and healthy. And I just when HSUS gets in there and takes clips that are really inappropriately taken and given these little sound bites or edits, so you just see a little snippet of what really is going on when it's not the whole picture. And it's given a false sense to people that aren't in the industry. They see this and they believe it to be true, and it's not. A lot of animals are taken care of so well. Is it to say there isn't a producer out there that may not be the best? There's always going to be that with any industry. But one thing I have a problem with is I go out, I love my cattle, I hand feed them, our bulls are hand fed. I have doctored and taken care of as many cattle and trying to keep them as comfortable as possible. And so when I hear different groups suggesting that it is not how it's done, then it just makes me very irate, personally.
Yes. Yeah, I know, as far as, say, teachers, you have the one teacher that has the affair or does something wrong, and they get all the media coverage. But all the teachers I know, 98% or more, give of their time. They give their lives. They're not unethical, but it seems like the bad ones always get the media coverage. And really, the truth is that farmers treat their animals well because they need the income. And so anyway, we'll clarify that. The other thing I wanted you to clarify was the use of antibiotics. I know a lot of people say, oh, I don't want to eat meat because of all these hormones and antibiotics that they put in the meat. So tell us about that.
Well, I think when you have sick animals, you are doing a disservice by not treating the animal effectively and appropriately. So I think antibiotics are a very important tool to use for the health of your animals. However, it can be abused. But when you give an animal antibiotics, there is a specific label that gives you a withdrawal. So you cannot sell that animal until you have gone through the withdrawal period. And if this meat goes into if it is sold, and it's USDA is there to inspect every carcass, and they can tell, and they will not put that meat in the food chain. So there are measures out there to help keep beef and other animals that go out to the for human consumption, to keep it very healthy and clean. Mm-hmm. And so I think as long as you need to use antibiotics to keep your cattle healthy, and there are those measures taken to keep it under control, so you're not getting just this beef that is
full of antibiotics.
And there have been several that or several times where we've lost animals because you try and treat them and we can't sell them, and they get sick, and so it's a very sad situation. But that's just part of, so they don't go into the human consumption, because you have not had that withdrawal time.
Mm-hmm. I know that there's a man, he speaks at K-State, and well, of course, all K-State, where there's an agricultural school, and mm-hmm. they talk about how the food that is conventionally produced is as good as the organic and all the fancy food. Now, if you have the money and you want to buy organically grown, cage-free, blah, 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 you can. But there is nothing wrong with the conventionally produced food that's in your supermarket. Mm-hmm. And when you have to feed the masses as well. Mm-hmm. Our population keeps expanding, and we have to feed people. And we have to be able to do that in the fastest way possible that's still healthy. So I wouldn't be worried about buying tainted meat at the store. And that's all I have. Do you have anything else to add?
I don't think so. I just, if you're going to be, you should know where your meat, your produce comes from, both sides. I mean, if you want to buy organic, or you locally raised, which I suggest, then you know exactly where it comes from. You can ask the producer where, what it's been fed, any antibiotics, any vaccine. You can know your product. So I strongly urge people to go that route. That way they know what they're buying. Mm-hmm. And that would be my suggestion.
And I'm still comfortable just going to the grocery mm-hmm. store. I trust the grocery stores. I trust the processes. And so that's all we have. We've got obviously more. We're going to have some farm footage in the future. So thank you for watching. I'm Karen Rogers. I educate, motivate, and entertain. I'll see you next time. Thank you, Gretchen.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.